Welcome back to the channel, guys. First off, do me a favor, subscribe and ring the bell. Give this video a thumbs up. It helps me out an awful lot. Make sure you leave a comment in the comment section. That will help me out through the algorithms too. Tell me what you think of the podcast. As I say, all my social medias can be found in the comment section of this video. That's my Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. So go over and follow me on all those social media platforms, guys. This podcast, half an hour of it, should have went out on Facebook, the first half hour, the sort of little teaser. So go over to my Facebook, guys, and share that on Facebook if you can. I don't have a super chat on any of my podcasts. The reason being, YouTube takes a lot of money from that. So if you want to, you can use the PayPal link and you can donate to the channel. All money that's donated to this channel will go to production, equipment, travel for this channel so I can do the podcast. You don't have to, but just for the people who asked me, that they told me they wanted to donate, if you want to, just use the PayPal link, and that's why I don't have a super chat. So Jude has come on to tell his story, right? And it's a gripping story. Now, part one of his story can be found in the comment section of this video. Go and check that out, guys. There was a little bit of trouble with YouTube. They took it down for 3 days and they re-uploaded it without really giving me an explanation, right? Nothing really was bad in that said in that podcast, but the link for that can be found in the comment section of this video. So go over and check that out, please. Jude comes from one of the roughest areas in Ireland, and he grew up having such a sort of polarizing lifestyle. From a very young age, drugs was implemented into his life, and he worked in one of the most notorious clubs in Dublin, where the ecstasy boom practically first started here in Ireland. So his story of sort of his introduction to drugs in Ireland started here, and he will be explaining that and the joyriding scene and a lot more different scenarios and stories in this podcast. He also gives advice at the end of this of what not to do when you're in this scenario, or how to get out of this. So guys, thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you enjoy this podcast. I enjoyed speaking to Jude. Remember, subscribe, ring the bell, smash the like button. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys. I really hope you enjoy this. Peace. Jude, what is the crack, sir? How are you keeping?
Good evening, lad. How are you doing?
It's an absolute pleasure to get you back on. Do you know, I'm going to touch on this just at the start of the podcast here. The first podcast me and Jude done, I have to explain this to people, Jude. What happened was I uploaded it. It was live. Sorry, I didn't upload it. It was live. YouTube took that down, right, and re-uploaded that 3 days later, right, and that was gaining big traction. I say that podcast would have done between 10 to 20,000 people watching, right? But because they took it down and they re-uploaded it, it lost its traction, and it only got 1K views. But that's still brilliant. Now, YouTube never gave me an explanation for that. They told me it was something to do with the link that I posted in the description, but everybody posts links in the description. So what that tells me is I had to get you back on because people wanted to hear what you had to say. Now, as I say, the link for Jude's first podcast will be in the comment section of this video. So guys, please go over and give that a watch. Brilliant podcast. And it'll give you a good insight to what Dublin is like and Jude's life. But tonight, what we're going to talk about the ins and outs of Ballyfermot. We're going to talk about the asylum. And we're going to talk about certain stories in Jude's area. So Jude, just to start this off, describe the area where you come from.
Tough. Really, a really tough area. Notorious place. Like I said, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but like I said, even though I live in Manchester, it's like I still have a lot of people over there around, and do you understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And everything is about credibility, okay? From day one, never used a fake name, never used a fake photograph, bro. And we won't go into it. Then a certain person put personal information about me out there, and yeah, not all true. But the area I come from, Okay, at 13, some of my friends were the best parties going. It's like, for entertainment when we were fucking 12, 13, me mates, Andy, big brilliant drivers, going go to a hospital, yeah, in the car park, boom, screwdriver into the door, bang. It's like in, pull the wood now, put a couple of certain words to get up, boom, boom, you're gone. It's like, uh, where I live, it's like, I was talking to a very notorious guy today, right? Won't mention his name, but he bought me old house now. Where I used to live, there was a massive park beside the house, so all my friends used to congregate across from my house because you didn't want their mass and that, seeing all the shit they were doing, do you understand? So it was all at my fucking house, like, and there was like about, I'm not joking, there must have been about 70 of us. Ronan, I'm not exaggerating. I'm good with
Is that a
numbers.
gang, Jude? Because the last time you said you weren't in a gang, but would you consider that a gang or just a group of mates?
A bit of both. Like, if you're being real about it, like, when I look back now, uh, people would say that, yeah, oh, I was maybe, you were me mates at the end of the day. I don't look at her like fucking I was in a fucking gang. A gang, bro, like I said, the place where I'm from is notorious, and my family are Ballyferma born and bred, and Ronan, I'm not joking you. When I moved up there, the amount of ass whoopings I got in the first year and a half, maybe. I moved up at 10, right? Now, loads of fucking families were moved up there with loads of kids. So there was always tension, like fighting with people, and then a few weeks later, round, I was, I always had a follower's mentality. Remember I told you that the last time? I always wanted to be one of the boys because I looked up to my uncle because he was a soldier, right? Is all I'm gonna say, yeah. Now, this can all be checked out, whatever, I couldn't give a fuck. That's what I wanted to do, like, because it's like I used to go hunting with him and all, shoot, I don't know. Anyway, my area was full of robbed cars. We, like I said, cars were getting robbed and fucking, it's like, I was approached, let's say, by a person, right? And let's say you give me a bag like that, right? Now, I'd go like this, get me mates and all, and I go, boys, right, here's what we're gonna do. This is for you, yeah? This is for you, right? This is for me, yeah? And this is for all my dead mates, right? Now, let's say I'm in a position where someone gives me a bag of Skittles and I'm like, fuck me, there's some amount of Skittles here. I'm not going to be able to eat all this. So I'm going to have to share them, let's say. But I want a return for eating my Skittles. Well, they're not my fucking Skittles, they're someone else's Skittles. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to break it down that way because I'm going to be smart about this, how I do this, because I've thought about this for so long. It's like, you're a project, you're a, you're a product of your environment.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
I know that firsthand now. Like I said, my mates go down where the police station is, start doing fucking donuts and handbrakers and all. You know what I mean? Just to get the police to chase us. Draw them up into area, man, and we fucking isolate them. Someone would come up with a fucking rob car, boom. You know what I mean? Next to all the police are stuck.
Were the police afraid of you?
Definitely. Still are on the place where I used to live, Cherry Orchard. It's notorious, folks say. There's not a housing estate I know in Europe that's rougher. But do you know what? The people of Ballyfermot are very hard working people. You know what I mean? It's only a minority. You know what I mean? So shout out to all the hard working, decent people in Ballyfermot, in Cherry Orchard.
What has
Education is involved.
what has the minority done to ruin Cherry Orchard, Ballyfermot?
Eh, well, a third of them are dead. A third of them are in jail. 1/5 got away, and fuck knows where the other bit's gone. Kind of thing. Like I said, it's like it was a proper rough area. Like you've no fucking idea, man. Uh,
What were the drugs? What were the drugs circulating? So what, just to give people an insight, what year was this?
oh, Jesus, on. Uh, right, I was born in 74, so I was 13. I think, hang on. Oh,
86?
no. No, I moved up there at 10. Because I lived in flats before that. Yeah, I'm not going backwards, but yeah, the area was really fucking tough. It's like when the police come up, man, you'd be battered,
But this was sort of,
bombarded.
it was sort of mid 80s then, mid 80s that you were there then.
Yeah,
Mid
it's
80s.
like 'cause at 10, Ronan, I used to have U2 badges on a denim jacket, and I thought I was one of the lads. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. So good times, mate. Good times. It sounded good times. Listen, as I say, I've got family from not that area, but in Dublin, and
Yeah.
they're mad into U2, UB40, and all the rest. But look, let's just emphasize this: people from Dublin, 99.9% from people from Ireland, but especially Dublin, are sound, good, credible people that are just good people in this earth. But as I say, the minority of people, what type of drugs was ruining the community in that area, being pumped in
What?
by yeah, the drugs.
What?
What type of drugs were being pumped in? Like, was there heroin? Was there crack? Was there um what was it?
Like,
What was
it all started with that fucking with sorry for swearing. It all started with that solid or whatever you call it, the one you're born.
dope?
Or yeah, right now when I was 14, that's all I was saying. Really. Don't get me wrong. I knew a lot of my peers were taking drugs. You could tell, you know what I mean? But still, I always wanted to be one of the boys. And it's like you're either with them or you're against the mentality. Simple as. You know what I mean? You're either in or you're not. I was niche. I was knee high like do you know how high I was in Cowshire? The size of the Empire State Building, and I didn't even realise it.
And dope.
Honest, proper, like, and it's like when you're young, sometimes people approach you and they'll groom you. That's what it's like. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, if you mind this for me, I'll give you A, B, and C. And if you mind this for me, I'll give you blah, blah, blah. You know, kind of way.
Well, there's two
Uh,
questions I want to ask you. That's a very relevant question or sorry, relevant topic that you brought up. But the first thing that stands out to me is that you had a big joyriding community in that area
oh,
at the time. The north of Ireland here is massive, and for the still to this day the joyriding is crazy. But there's good joyriding and there's bad joyriding in the sense that people go out and steal cars and joyride them cars, and other people just joyride their own cars. But explain the joyriding scene in Dublin at the time. Was it massive? Was it out of control?
okay. I can only speak for two areas. Ballyfermot, Clondalkin. Now, this is crazy. It's like there was like a rivalry between the fucking joyriders. Who was the best joyrider? nuts. And up in Clondalkin, I knew a lad, yeah. He robbed the fucking, sorry for swearing, he robbed the, what was it, an RS 2000 or something ridiculous, man. And he took a chase from the city centre of Dublin all the way up. It's like he come all the way up through Ballyfermot. It's like straight up to Clondalkin.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and the police, there's a police station up there, yeah. Now, these two brothers, I'm not going to name them, but they were fucking, the cars that they used to take, it's like ridiculous. It's like, and every every night, no nights off, like, you understand? Somebody would always be doing something, uh, and it was like a pack mentality because there were so many of us, you know what I mean?
That's what I'm going to refer to back to the gang. Like when you've got a large group of people like that, you have a section of them that are good at stealing cars. You've got a section of them that sort of dabble in the drugs. You've got a section of them that are good at violence. Was it that way inclined where you were with a group of people like 70 people and everybody had their own wee job to do?
No, uh, right. You cannot, no, not at all. It's like only certain people like that can be trusted or whatever. It's so easy to get into. It's like you see the other guys doing whatever. It's like, and everybody, and like I said, it's like when I was 13 to 15, there was loads of heroin, but you never heard of cocaine. Now, like I said, like the only thing we done was smoke hash or LSD. Yeah, a lot of them. Fucking hell, man. Yeah, and then the ecstasy when I was about 15. But up in Cherry Orchard, man. I'm not joking. Like I've seen like police cars. I mean, blocked in next to all two people running with. You know them breeze blocks?
Mm-hmm.
Bang through the window. You know what I mean? Start jump on the car, boot the window in, drag the glass off, drag pack pack mentality. You know, it's like and when you're with loads of people, you think, oh, you're smart, Alex. You know,
No,
it's
I
like
get that, Jude. I listen, Jude, 100% because I don't know if you have the same thing down south, but up here, I remember I was in a car one night with a guy and he didn't have his driving license. And we came up to a police stop and he literally he whipped the thing around and he belted it back the way. Now we took a police chase. I told him let me out of this car. I'm going to jump out of the car. He says, no, trust me. He turned off the lights, driving pitch black dark, and he drove into a little area. I'm not going to say the name, but it was a Republican area where it would have maybe high paramilitary presence. And once they knew we were going in there, they backed off and they didn't pursue the chase. Would it be sort of similar to that in Dublin where they would chase you to a certain area and then back off because it's too dangerous?
well, nowadays that's what the police are told. If the chase is getting too fucking dangerous, he'll stop even helicopters and all because you could end up fucking hitting the car with like loads of kids in and it's like I said, I've seen a couple of my mates flip cars. Not on purpose. It's like, you know what I mean? Doing handbrakers and they going too quick and you know what I mean, handbrake down, you know what I mean, steering wheel, blah, blah, and oh man, I seen it. Oh yeah, wait, I'll tell you about this for a fucking police case. Sorry for my language. This fella from our area, there must be about seven brothers, right? I'm not gonna say the person's name, but he took a police chase from the city centre, right? In a Des Kelly carpet van. Now, I don't know whether you've ever heard of Des Kelly carpets, right? But he fucking
Yeah.
sorry, he robbed a carpet van, right? He was in town and he had no money for the bus, yeah. So he had a screwdriver in his pocket. You know what I mean? It's like some poor fella probably on his lunch or something. You know what I mean? Straight over, bang. door open, in, teasing it and all. He's like, oh. Anyway, he took a police chase. I swear on, and there must have been about five different area police, like Clondalkin, Ballyfermot, Star Street, Fitzgibbon Street, like, oh man, it's like, and the van come up, and I've never seen anything like it. It was like looking at Donald Trump's security. The amount of cars. I was looking down the road and I was like, holy, oh, all the way down, right? And he parked it in the middle of this field, and they all stopped because the field was right beside my house, right? And I'm not joking, yeah, everyone had a block in their hand. You know what I mean? Oh my God, man.
That's just
You had
right.
to,
Right then, there's going to be a riot, and they're not the police or the Garda are not. They're not prepared for that, so they have to back off.
well, like I said, the history of that little area, and it's rare that they used to come up, because you know the deal, what's gonna happen. I've always had that mentality, I mean, never trusted other people.
So,
You
Jude,
know,
there's another question that stands out to me, right? And it's violence in your area. How violent could your area get towards other people? So, as you say, most of the people in your area were very good, hardworking people, are very good, hardworking people. But for the minority, how violent did the minority get? And did any sort of average person get caught up on? Did any sort of was there victims caught up in that didn't do anything? Sort of innocent people caught up in violence, and what was the violence like to in the minority? Was it very bad?
yeah, I'd say it was a bit, like I said, when you're with double figure people with the same mindset. It just throws, when you hear, like I said, I had a lot of friends. It's like, and like I said, when I was 14, 15, one of my mates fell over bleeding Concord Street. Another one got stabbed. Same year and all, man. And it's like, when you see people's mums crying and that. I was in a disco down when I was 14, yeah. We all used to go. It was called The Apartment in Temple Bar. We used to end at 11 because the last bus was at half 11. Comes out of the disco one night, my mate's on the floor. It's like he's had been stabbed. We didn't know he was stabbed in the heart because, like I said, we come out and there was around a crowd of people, so I thought it was a fight automatically. So we're pushing through, and I can just hear the scream, and I know whose voice it is because I went in the fucking disco with her. It's like, and so I went over, like, what I mean? It's like he's on the ground, and I knew he was in a puddle of his own blood, man. It's like, I had hold of his hand, she had hold of his head. It's like, and I seen him take his last breath. Uh, R.I.P. Keith Collins, yeah. But,
So
and R.I.P.
a very violent place then.
Depending on the area, like there's head cases all over the place. You know what I mean? But when you live in a housing estate like that, over time, it's very a friendly area. Like everybody knows each other around the area. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, and like I said, I'm over here 27, nearly 27 years. It's like, and I have a lot of my friends still live over there. You know, uh, some of them have grown up. Some of them have just got out of jail. Wait, uh,
You
you'll
never
know
lost
who.
the accent, Jude. You never lost the dub accent. It's the same as my dad. He's from Dublin. He lives in England. He never lost the accent either.
I had a friend, right? Uh, and I find that funny you say that, right? Because I had a mate, yeah, uh, and I come over to Manchester, right, and because of I fucked up. About 2 months later, this prick knocks at my door with a bag, and I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing here? Sorry about the language. What are you doing here?" He's like, "Bro, I'm on my toes." I was like, "And you've knocked on my door? You know what I mean? Come in, man." And I'm like, "Oh, man, I don't need this headache, but what's I supposed to do?" You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I saved his life, and he called his son Jude. That's all I'll say. So shout out to
Did
him.
you? Did you? Was he a dub?
Of course he was, yeah.
And he called to
Listen,
your place in Manchester.
I was taking the piss out of him because we both lived in England the same year, at the same time, and he's a Chelsea fan, right? And he has a Cockney accent. And I always rip him. I'm like, "What are you talking like that for?" You know what I mean? I says, "You're not a Cockney. Just because you
Wow.
know Jay Ireland doesn't mean you're a
So he,
Cockney."
but you have to understand though, you'd see that Cockney accent's very, very strong. I would say the dub accent and the Cockney accents, probably two of the strongest accents sort of around. Do you know what I mean? It can take over one another. But yourself, as you say, you moved to Manchester. You never lost the accent. My dad, he lives in England. He never lost the accent, and it's like a sort of badge of honor that like you could go into Dublin right now and people wouldn't even know that you've moved.
Yeah.
It's crazy, that isn't it? So to talk right, so we've covered a bit of the violence, or so it can be a violent place, but the majority of it isn't because it's full of decent people, and that's good to hear. But a question, just say I'm a rat, just say I'm a police informer, or I'm stealing somebody's drugs, or I stole the wrong person's car, or I pissed off one of these groups. What would
You're
happen to me?
you're gonna get fucking dealt with. Like if you were rob a drug dealer, it's like now there wasn't a lot of that nonsense going on when I was a kid and all, but like I said, I always wanted to be one of the boys, so it's like I started minding shit and all. You know what I mean for people, and I didn't realise they were manipulating me at the time, but I just wanted to be one of the boys. So like I'm not even gonna tell you, like, because you'd be like, wow. Yeah, but like I said, sometimes it's like, like for instance, when we were 14, first time we ever had one of them things, and it went off like me mate. It was like a prehistoric dinosaur bleeding shotgun. But I tell you what, there's some kick out of it, man. Eh. No, but Roland, it's like I said, a few of my friends, let's say, are dead. A few of them are locked up, doing like, yeah, double figure. You know what I mean? It's like,
If you mind me asking, I get the same thing from my dad. He says a lot of my friends are dead. You said the same thing to me, but the question that I've never asked is why is there a lot of your friends dead?
because they made the wrong choices, Roland. You know, listen, just because you're from the corner doesn't mean you're stuck there. You have choices and options. Listen, I fucked up. Oh, sorry, I messed up
Oh,
a
you're
few
fine.
times.
Curse away, Jude. Curse away.
I messed up a few times, and I put my trust in people, and they betrayed me. Is all I'm gonna say. Like, and it's heartbreaking, because like I said, where I'm from, you know what I mean. All my mates were solid, and they won't take a back step. Do you understand?
Hmm.
Never, never hesitate, cause it can get you hurt. But like I said, mob mentality, it's like you're a product of your environment. It's like, and I was lucky enough to get away at 18, but at 14, I was working in a spa, right? And there's a hairdresser's above it. I'll get into this real quick. Anyway, for a year, we had a storeroom up there. So I always used in this fucking storeroom, there was like loads of baby wipes, loads of Johnson products, like baby powder and all this. So for a year, I used to give them this stuff, right? Used to get paid 66 quid a week, right? After school. I got fucked out of school. But anyway, I got a job in Spar. So when I was 15, I was still there, and your man up above or whatever said to me, he's dead now. Lord rest his soul. He used to call me kiddo. He says to me one day, I up getting stuff in the storeroom for the shop, and I threw him loads of toilet rolls, and he goes, "Kiddo, can I ask you a question?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "Much do you get paid downstairs?" And I said, 66 quid. He says, "What, a day?" I was like, "No, a week, a day." And he started laughing, like, and there's a few other people with him. I know he's a kid and all, like, and he's like, "You've been very good to me." He says, "Do you want a job?" And I said, "What kind of job?" He says, "I have these magic skittles, yeah, and see that's heaven."
Ecstasy.
Oh yeah.
And was that the
So
first? Was that your introduction then into the ecstasy world?
yeah, cause the geezer's dead now, like, so it's like
What age were you?
I was 15.
15 years of
So
age, and he's saying he's got these magic skills. You have to see that as grooming.
yeah,
That is grooming.
but I think like I said, he was a fucking grown ass man. He owned the place. Uh, and he said to me basically, "Listen, here, get yourself an outfit." He handed me £100, right? And I'm like, now at the time, like I said, I was mad into dance music. All my mates were. We were going to a couple of raves, what have you. Anyway, he asks me, I says, "Where is it?" He said, "In town." I says, "Whereabouts?" He said, "Sackville Place." I says, "What's it called?" He said, "The Asylum." I was like, "So what do I do?" He says, "Come in at 8 o'clock." Okay. I fucking go in, all the DJs are fucking doing sets. It didn't open until 10 o'clock, so you're getting all the gear ready. And loads of my mates are DJs, and he fuck about it. Anyway, cut a long story short, yeah. So I was a bit apprehensive about it, so I said, "Yeah, what happens if the feds turn up?" And he says to me, "Listen, you have a sort, don't worry about it. That's not your job. That's my job. You just do yours and I'll do mine." Anyway, cut a long story short, not only did he own it, but he gave me a fucking job, yeah. Anyway, he gave me £100, so I went and got a champion tracksuit. Because at the time I was feeling champion, right? I had a fucking red champion fucking. I was like a traffic light. You know what I mean? It's like so. Here's how it was. It's a 3-story building right now. Here's how it is,
This
right?
is the asylum.
Yeah,
Right,
we
we're
have
into the
my
right, guys. We're into the asylum now. This is the famous asylum in Dublin.
yeah.
It's a yeah.
So I I go in, you know what I mean? It's like with a couple of people, you know what I mean? The doorman got me way. I was like, "Why you want move out of the way, man?" And one of the blokes goes, "Yeah, he's with me, man. Don't he's you know what I mean?" Fucking idiot. You know what I mean? Walking past them and all going in there with an attitude, and all I can hear is boom, 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 and I'm going down the stairs, man. You know what I mean? And as I'm getting near to the bottom, all I can hear, and I'm like, and it's just like that. You know what? Fuck this. So, let's say we had a risk assessment. Yeah, we had a chat. Uh, okay, this is how it's gonna work, right? You do that job, you do that job. And so my job was to, yeah, but sell a few of them fellas for £25 each. Now at the time, we were right. Here's how it was, Ronan. This where I'm from, Ballyfermot, that's the south of Dublin, right? But this nightclub was right in the heart of the city centre, right? Now, community politics, let's say, right? Now, if you, like I said, you can't just go in to a certain city, open up a nightclub, and not expect other people to notice. Does that make sense? Like I said, I was that in love with the whole scene. It's like, and it went on for 17 months, Ronan,
Can you
right?
talk about, just to start, just for me to direct you there, but talk about the purity of these ecstasy tablets, because
Oh,
nowadays you're talking about, you wouldn't get an ecstasy tablet for 25 quid, but you back then it was 25 pounds or 25 punts for one. So tell me, what was the purity? What was the difference then till now?
okay. The difference back then, you were clean as you were proper, like, grade A. I mean, like, and the first night I went in, you just, yeah, 1 sec, hang on, Ronan, can you just give me 1 sec?
Right, guys, while I've got you there, sorry, I had myself on mute. While I've got you there, remember, subscribe and ring the bell. Smash that like button, guys, and let's get this video up the algorithms. Leave a comment, guys, too, because that really
Made
helps me out.
steak, potatoes, and noodles, so I'll let it cool down.
We've only
Right,
got
go
another
on.
we've only got another 20 25 minutes left anyway, Jude. But you've explained the sort of the purity of these tablets. Now, explain to people uh the asylum. Explain what was it about, what was the music, and what was the scene, and also explain to people your how long you were there and what your job was.
Uh, well, I had a couple of jobs. You know what I mean? It's like one was a spot, or like, everybody, like I said, we were all on it. I know a fed a mile away. Uh, but right, what happened was when ecstasy hit Dublin, Ronan, yeah, the crime rate went down, the murder rate went down, the animosity between, like you're talking about, suburb, let's say a suburb, like where I used to live, where I live now, on a housing estate. Every head case from each housing estate come to the asylum. Do you understand? And like, I had 2 jobs, right? Obviously, the first job was I had a bag of Skittles and do a magic dance Skittles. So, and I was the only one with these, yeah. So, like I said, uh, so I'm the only one selling them, right? I'm like a traffic light. No, sorry, I'm like what are they called in the middle of the sea? One of them bleeding red things that goes up and down in my champion tracksuit, but I was the only one selling it. Now, I also had to look out for, because like I told you, you have Ballyfermot, Tallaght, Clondalkin, Finglas, Coolock, all the areas, yeah. Hang on, let me put this on there. All them areas. Hang on, I'll leave that now in a minute. All them areas, yeah. And all the different, if you want to say, alleged gangs from every area come to this nightclub right now. Nobody is allowed selling that nightclub except Ballyfermot, right? I'm on the dance floor now, and my job was right now, when I got rid of all my pills, I could chill, have a dance. Follow a few. Dun, 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 dun. I used to love a dance music. When people say to you, what was your first love? I always say music. Music was my first love. Like, I was so deep into it, and the first few weeks round, and I'm not joking, you're right. I'm 15. I have 30-year-old coming over to me, being real nice to me and what have you. And the things are seeing happening in the toilet. Yeah, here this night anyway, right? I'm on the dance floor, yeah, and this fella nods me, yeah. I'm like, yeah, all right, mate, everybody on a fucking great buzz, you know what I mean? Your man goes, what a boy and he is. And I'm like, I'm thinking a minute. I'm off me, no, and I'm like, did he just say that? You know what I mean? It's like me jaw everywhere and all, like, I was like, what one's Eddie and all? And I was talking to him and all, I was like, right, tell you what, right, I'll buy four off you, you know what I mean? But come over here or in the toilets, man, 'cause it's on top, man. You know what I mean? It's like, and it's like, I just like, you know what I mean? And nod, like, you know what I mean? That's all it took, you know what I mean? Fucking dragged into the toilets, yeah? All that shit taken off them, I'm fucked out. Sorry for the language, yeah, but that's what happened.
So anybody that was selling magic dance skittles in this particular nightclub that wasn't from your area was getting stripped off their stuff and kicked out and not
Correct,
allowed back again.
correct, 100%. 100%. Listen, this is our nightclub, right? That's my job. You do yours, I'll do mine. I'm good at my job. You know what I mean? Anyway, I was a floater. I used to go around, you know what I mean? 3 floors, yeah? You know what I mean? Some of the best DJs in Europe come out, Al Cox and all, man. It's like, you know, and like I said, as the weeks progress, Ronan, you see the same faces coming to you asking you for them. Have you got this? Have you got, you know what I mean? So I become accustomed to the locals, you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, I had a few occupational hazards, like, you know, in the toilets and all. Call it a work courtesy.
But just a question on a night, on a regular night, or it's just say a good night, how many magic skittles were you shifting?
Ronan, honestly, it all depended. It's like probably, at the time, was only, like, it wasn't selling loads, probably about 200, maybe 300, depending on the night, you know what I mean? But it's like, you start getting crazy because people got greedy. Uh, like I said, I, so, like I said, people start getting greedy. So, one night, a notorious family come into this nightclub. A notorious family from the city centre is all I'm going to say. I'll give you a hint, yeah, right? The person, he's been in the news the last few months. Uh, yeah, I think he was on holiday. Uh, and he got a knock on the door. God bless him. Uh, and fuck his nephew too. Sorry. Anyway, there was friction. So an arrangement. You come to an arrangement, yeah. I'll put it to you this way, Ronan, right? Okay, the asylum nightclub. There was 2 people that done that, right? So a dispute was settled. They said, "Listen, you let one of my men into your nightclub, and we let one of your men into our nightclub, right?" So they come to this fucking agreement, right? Now he said, I hear you can come up as a VIP. So I went up. I had about 100 things with me, right? Uh, and you know what? I sold them all very quick. I, and, oh man, about
Were you treated good in that certain individual's nightclub? Was there any animosity towards you? I think people will sort of click on to who that is. And if you don't, we
yeah,
can't say and we won't be saying. But regardless, whenever you went to the rivals nightclub, was it how were you treated? And was that nightclub just as good as the asylum?
one nightclub I went to as a courtesy because, like I said, it was part of my job. It's like, and he sent me up to this spot called G1 in Fisbret in Dublin. It used to be an ice rink. Uh, Anyway, I goes up with one of my friends. You know what I mean? So we're in the VIP area and all class. Like, I go out, start doing my thing, got rid of them, you know what I mean? This fella come over to me and he goes, alright, mate. I go, alright, lad, what's up? He goes, have you any pills? And I was looking at him and I was like, straight away, I was like, nah. And he goes, what you lying for? Next of all, there's about fucking 6 of them around me. And I was like, what's the story, bro? Next of all, wow. I got laddered. Me and me mate, we got built up and down the stairs. And to get entry into G1, you have to walk up these stairs, and it's like 15 steps, 15 steps, 15 steps. Me and one of my friends went there. A couple of their people were in a nightclub, right, doing their thing. Ronan, I got set up. You know what I mean? It's like he sent me and I got set up. I was only ever in there once. Sorry, I was in there a couple of times, but the particular night I went up, I got rid of all my work. You know what I mean? I had a couple myself, like, you know, just like that, like. Right. All my shit's gone. I'm on the dance floor. Fuck this. Mm, mm, mm. Nothing left. Bundle of money in my pocket. You know what I mean? Like I said, take into consideration, right?
Why did they set you up and did they steal your money?
I don't really know. It's like because I was their seller. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, listen, I just carry out orders. You know, I was asked to do something, so I done it. It's like, cause there was a couple of others that were offered to do it, and they said no, so he sent me. He took all my money off me, whooped me ass, and then threw me down a 70 step. I swear to God, like loads of them. So I had a black eye, a busted lip, my nose was cracked. Oh man, I got cracked a few times. So I waved the taxi and all. The taxi didn't stop. I had blood everywhere. Got a taxi back to the asylum. It's like in the doorman, Jude, what happened to you? Because at this time now, like I said, a year and a half in, the doormen were very familiar with me. Do you understand? Because I was
Mm-hmm.
going in there every week. But yeah, I got lettered by a very notorious family, right? Uh, yeah, I hope you're enjoying yourself, buddy. Uh,
Can I
like I
ask you?
said,
I just want to sort of ask a different question there, Jude. But later on in your life, you spoke to me. Not later on in your life, you spoke to me, but later on in your life, you told me you found sort of God. Can you
that,
explain to people your relationship with God? What religion are you, and do you believe in God? And if you do, how did you come to the conclusion that this religion was going to help your life?
uh, when I was young, when I first moved up to Ballyfermot, we got involved in this night or this club where it was like a youth club, and every year he used to take us down to Arklow. I don't know whether you ever been around them, but it was beautiful, right? But every year for a week we went camping down there. It's like, and it was called DCM, Dublin Christian Mission. And they took us away every year. They're still doing it, like, fair play to them, like, for all, look at, in some areas, there's nothing for the youngsters to do. So, you see everybody else doing this, doing that, you know, they put two and two together. Like I said, honest money, you know, and I learned that. I learned how, listen, honest money always goes further, but listen, I don't have that problem where I'm looking over my shoulder, you know. Ronan, as you know, 11 of my pals got caught slipping. Uh, But yeah, you got caught slipping because of fucking cocaine. Too much. I mean, you get guys that have like now, like I said, every club has a dog, right? Now, when I say a fucking dog, I mean a dog. Now, this guy wasn't fucking 6 foot tall or anything. Like, he was about 5'7". I'm not gonna mention his name. He was a dog, like, and I was always on edge when he was around because he's a mad, you know. So it's like it was his job. If anyone was caught selling the asylum, he'd take them in the toilet roll, and I'm not even gonna tell you what happened. You know what I mean? That's and then he broke the golden rule, like if you have a nightclub. But heroin start getting smoked in the asylum on the third floor. The owners, partners, clients, funders, everyone was off their tits all the time. So people didn't argue, like, you know what I mean? And it was a structured thing. You know what I mean? It's like, and at the end of the day, as a kid, I was always told never to tell anybody. You know what I mean, Ronan? Uh, Friend or foe, you know what I mean? I won't tell on you. It's like I'll betray a conversation. I'm not looking for you. It's like, and there's no honor in
Why?
that. Like,
Why did so? It went from ecstasy to heroin very, very fast. Then
yeah, definitely, because right, I was about, I was 15, and I went, like I said, I went back to a party, and loads of the lads that I looked up to were all sitting around in a circle. Every one of them had a big lump of tinfoil. You had lighters, and they were burning it, and they were going up, down, and the smell of it, I was like, and I'm looking at me mate, and he's having a go over like that, and next of all, he's like that, look, and I'm like, I'm looking at them all, and they're all like that, look, they're all fucked, and I'm like, hang on a minute, ecstasy doesn't do that to you. Yo, yeah, I can have a go with that. You know what I mean? So it's like, fucking, they were all asleep, so I said, here, fuck this. I picked one of them up because they were all like that. Boom, gouching, gone. And I had to go over it. Yeah.
what were the lasting effects of that throughout your life? That moment.
Yeah. It changed. It changed me entire life. It's like, because if all that nonsense didn't happen, I wouldn't be here today. I had to go through all that crazy bastard stuff. And like I said, I come here, like all right, Ronan, when I went to prison, I prayed to God. I was like, please get me out of this situation. I beg you, and I promise never, ever, ever sell Class A drugs.
Can you
And
explain prison? You went to prison. Can you explain what prison you went to? How prison was? How was it for you? Can you explain that process?
I'm frozen. What's going on there? Whoop! What's happened, Ronan?
Can you explain prison and what was prison like for you?
Right. Uh, I went to Mount Joy because I, like, further on down the line when I was fucking, what happened was I went to England at 18, come back at 19 because my missus wanted to have the baby in the Rotunda hospital, like in the Norwich hospital. So anyway, the only thing I knew what to do was to sell drugs. So, you know what I mean? It's like, I had a son, and at the end of the day, my family has to look. You have to put. You have. My dad worked all his life, right? Now, like I said, I've always worked. Even as a kid, I'm not gonna go into a paper around fucking this. It's like, but I had a baby. Now, at the time, I didn't realise the danger I was in. I was living in the city centre, right? Now, had a flat with me missus and all. Anyway, the house gets raided. you find a Luger up in the loft. It wasn't mine, I swear to God. It wasn't mine. But I'm not going to say whose it was. You know what I mean? It's like, I was there. How did I get there? I don't fucking know. You know what I mean? Maybe Father Christmas left me a gift. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's tough round. Like I said, drugs. If you have, like I said, drugs ruined my life. Like hundreds of thousands of people. See, like remember what I said to you before, Ronan? Just 'cause you're from a corner or a block or the end doesn't mean you're stuck there. You know what I mean? It's like, and I know for a fact you're a product of your environment. It's like, but when you step away from it and you have time to think, like I said, when I had my son, I messed up because, listen, kids need nappies, they need this, they need that. My lad was only what? He was only 2 at the time. So I had a job to do. You know what I mean? It's like, and I wasn't afraid because I'm from the south side. I had no business on that side. Selling, you know what I mean? Selling that shit. But like I said, I was addicted to it, and it's like at the end of the day, I had a job to do, and it's like I'd wake up in the morning and I wouldn't be able to go anywhere around until I had it. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna even go into it, like, but my ex-partner or my kid's mum, we were young, we were dumb, we were naive. You know what I mean? There's always someone bigger than you, and you know, sometimes in life you need to check yourself around and be logic and you know what I mean? That's my reality. It's like I got away from all that nonsense, you know, and it's like I'm another statistic. Like I said, the housing estate where I'm from, Ballyfermot, everybody, like most of the city don't like Ballyfermot. But like I said, it runs through me veins, Ronan. It runs through me veins, Ballyfermot. It's like I said, yeah, I'm solid.
What's your message for anybody caught up in sort of, doesn't matter what part of the world, whether it's Dublin, America, Australia, anybody that's watching now and they were in the same sort of situation you're in, what message would you give them of help?
Uh, don't be a follower. It's like if you know you're involved in certain stuff. Let's say whether it's you're selling drugs or let's say whether you're cleaning a gun or whatever, or you know when you're young you do dumb stuff and uh, what I'd say is, listen, just 'cause you're from Tala, Clondalk and Ballyfermot, New York, China, it's like, you know, stay in your own lane. It's like stay away from drugs. It's like hash is a gateway drug to it. Listen to your teachers, man. It's like think of your future. You know what I mean? Education is always the way forward, and I know it because of one son, and I made a deal with God. Get me out of jail. Get me out of this situation, and I'll try my best to be a good citizen, a law-abiding citizen, uh, and then I become a father and had me son and turned me back on that life, Ronan, because it's bullshit. You know, it's grooming, Ronan, the way you said it. But when you're a kid, you don't realize you're getting manipulated. Does that make sense?
Listen, Jude, that's actually a fantastic sort of note to end on. My son's actually just came into the room and he's pulling out into this room here and he's pulling out all the toys. You can probably hear like a toy going off in the background. But that's a
Not
really good note to end on. And it's a very good sort of message to leave people that are sort of in need of that message. Is there anything else you would like to talk about? Obviously, we can do a part three, but
yeah,
I have to stress this, guys. Go check out the first podcast with Jude. It's in the comment section of this video. And hopefully Jude comes back for a part three. You explained a lot there, Jude. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, but there's a few people I'd like to thank if that's okay.
Yeah,
Right,
you work away. Yeah.
right. I want to thank all my family. Right, all the people that get on YouTube. God bless you all. Uh, I want to give a few people a shout out because they've helped me. You included. Fighting Irish, DG back up to Cesspit, Polly Gray Cassidy, that's another person of about 50 names for her. Loopy Lou, Silly Sue, fucking Scaredy Mary, shout out to you. Shout out to Dan. And when you come here, Dan, I'm gonna fucking rinse you on the 19th. Sorry for my language, guys. Ronan, it's been, you know what? I love coming on here. It's like a release for me. So what's the process now? So how did that go? Was that okay?
Jude, that was absolutely fantastic. I think you covered a lot of situations there, and you covered a lot to do with your life. But there's other wee things that we can talk about in part three
Yeah,
to do with Dublin. Maybe get you on. Maybe have two people on from Dublin at the same time, and you can maybe relate to certain stories. But listen, that was fantastic, Jude. Friend, you're a very good. You're a well-spoken guy. I have to say, you're very good at telling the story and sort of articulating your life. But Jude, listen, that is the end of the podcast. I appreciate you coming on. You're a gentleman, and I hope to get you back on again. All good?
Rob, can I just say this? I'd
Yeah.
come on your podcast anytime. You know why? Because you're the man. Never mind James English or Sean Atwood. Ronan is the man, yeah. And yeah, yeah, just for the record, yeah. He's a proper Irishman, yeah. And his dad's from near where I'm from. And I've seen his passport, so cuteness, okay?
What a
Doing
will.
your veil.
What I will say is, Jude, I appreciate those kind words. Listen, if I'm half as good, if I ever get half as good as Atwood or James English, listen, I'm doing something with my life. But listen, another thing I have to say, and this goes to everybody, just a bit of advice: never listen to what people say about you, on YouTube, especially if you don't know them, because
Yeah.
what it is, it's more than likely just absolute bullshit. That's the
Oh,
way. That's the way I live my life, and anybody that's trying to make it in life in any sort of
yeah.
situation, just don't listen to people. Just do your thing, move forward, and just take the rest of it as noise. Do you know what I mean?
Ronan, can I just say, listen, big up James English, big up Sean Atwood. Yeah, you have a lot of, you have a big platform, but you're an Irishman at the end of the day, and your credibility and nothing against them. Like I'm a no one apparently, but like I said, I'm, I, I am the way I am, Ronan. Like I'll tell you how it is. It's like there's not a thing that you or anybody can do to me that's not already being done. You know, like
Hmm.
I said, I've taken a few for the team. You know what that means? It's like
Yeah.
so. Anyway, listen, like I said, just because you're from the corner, the manor, or the block doesn't mean you're stuck there. Get away from all that nonsense. Go away from it. It's like I'm put 4 years of your life into going to university and you're done then. You're all right. You got a degree. You can take it all the way around the world. Like, listen, a job in fighting, a job will only get you so far, yeah? But it's your brains that'll get you a seat at the table. Bang! There you go. How about that?
Well,
Ronan,
that's a really good message to end on there, Jude. Listen, thank you very much for coming on, gentlemen. What I will say is, you can find the link for Jude's channel in the comment section of this video. Please go over and subscribe to his channel. You will be missing out if you don't go over and subscribe to that channel now. He puts out really good content. He's a real guy. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys. Jude, you're an absolute gentleman.